Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at XRP and we're also going to be looking at Bitcoin. Obviously, XRP moved up a nice 6% yesterday and is at 1.9% so far today on the day. And Bitcoin has taken a bit of a pop in the last few hours, 5 or 6 hours. So we're going to just assess Bitcoin first because I think it gives us an idea of potential direction of market. Then we're going to look at XRP and then we're going to look at XRP against Bitcoin, XRP against ETH and what I might be looking for going forwards. If we look at Bitcoin specifically, I do think that there is potential that we still have one more pullback. I've had this entry written in for a long while. I think that we probably do get a test down here, and I'm going to show you why in a second. But for example, on this move up here, we haven't managed to break the range highs, and we've created a bearish divergence on the hourly time frame. Probably more of a liquidity sweep to the upside, but yet for anything to be confirmed. This would all everything would start to change in my thought process if we can get some clean breaks above like 69,000, but I know that's not really very helpful for anyone. Until we do break above 69,000, I do think we probably come down and hit this range first, and then I probably think we march up there. That's genuinely my opinion. So why do I think this? Obviously, we've just discussed that bearish divergence there. If we also look, we are creating like a widening descending wedge, and that would lead us into this entry zone. There's a lot of different reasons why, and then we're going to look now at liquidity. If we look at liquidity in general, this is on trading different. This is where I see these are people in long positions where they would get stopped out, and these are people in short positions where they would get stopped out. Like, is there potential for us to squeeze up to like 63,000 and then come back down and get rid of these guys down here? Probably. Like, there's potential, and not probably, actually, possibly. Obviously, there's loads of liquidity down here, but oftentimes liquidity gets left behind. So I presume that we do hit this liquidity, or maybe wick into it before we start to head off higher. Get rid of all these people who jumped in long, and as you can see below them, like, more people are coming in long, and we can actually see that by looking over here at Velo. So now I'm over on Velo. This is the area that I wanted to backtest for an entry for a long position. If you're in my Telegram chat, the free Telegram chat, I've been talking about this position for a long time, this potential entry. So I'm still looking for that entry exactly here. It'd be lovely. But as you can see, in the last few hours, as we started to creep up in price, we've actually creeped up quite a bit in open interest there. And we're looking at open interest in terms of coins, and they have increased by about 9.6k. So 9.6 thousand Bitcoin extra has been leveraged in the last few hours. So that's quite a lot. So I think there's a good argument, at least, for a pullback here. As also open interest, as funding rates have turned positive again, meaning that there's probably more longs, meaning that longs are paying shorts. There's probably more longs than shorts in the market right now. So if we do start to get a flush in that open interest, it's probably more towards the long side, like the longs getting flushed out, basically. So if we start to break some lows, you probably see the stop losses cascade into further stop losses. Cascade into further stop losses and bring our price down. Quite quickly that can happen. So I'm always prepared for that. And Cred actually agrees with me, Credible Crypto. I think he's an amazing technical analyst. He says that we are take some supply and then come down to the area that I've got marked out. And that looks pretty similar to what we're doing right now. Credits drawn in between 61 and 62k-ish. And prices at it got to 61.4. So he aligns with what I think, essentially, or I align with him both ways. But now we'll move on to the interesting part, because for me, XRP is looking pretty flippin' interesting. We're going to look at XRP both against the dollar here. There's a few things, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself, because a few things that I want to discuss here. Obviously, again, on the hourly, XRP is actually in the overbought area. Not really any bearish divergences though, because it's actually managed to break above the price action of the local highs. So that's not really particularly a bearish divergence. One thing that we could be cautious of here is the potential for this ABC to be longer than I expected before, and it could be something like this. This is a possibility of this wave 2. ABC could go something like that. Then the wave 2 would be like this, for example. We shouldn't really violate the low of the 1, but that is still a possibility. So that's something to keep in mind before we get too ahead of ourselves. That is something to keep in mind. So there is still a high possibility or a possibility that this ABC correction could just be longer than presumed. However, the pop-up was blooming nice. It's nice to see some positive price action. I'm going to take us to the 4-hour time frame. One thing that I talked about yesterday before I went to sleep here in Dubai is when if we can get a breach into this overbought area on the 4-hour, is often when we start to take off a little bit with XRP. So I'm going to go to a chart that's a little bit less chaotic. I mean, it's still kind of chaotic, but I'll get rid of these for now, just so we can see what I'm talking about. So when we hit these overbought areas for XRP, let's get rid of that line on the RSI as well. I can show you what that was for in a minute. As you can see, we breached it. In fact, I'm just going to go really zoomed in here. So you can see we breached the overbought area on the RSI right here, and this candle here. So once we breached the overbought area on the RSI, until we crossed back bearish again, our first high was 20% higher. When we crossed back bearish again, it was around 11% higher. But if we go to the absolute top of the move, 30%. So we've got potentially, if we can confirm that we are moving into this overbought area here for on the RSI for XRP, potentially anywhere between a 10 and 30% move coming additionally to where we are right now. Now, where would that take us? If we look at a 10 to 30% move, we could get a move to 67 cents, which would be at least above the local highs. A 30% would take us up to 80 odd cents. So that would be perfect in my opinion, a 30% move here. I'm going to show you why that is. I'm sorry, I'm just going to get all these lines back on. Let's have a look back at the XRP wave count, because we've got some key resistance here. And I know that my chart's super messy, but you can just ignore the right hand side of the screen, because we've been in this range for, well, since Judge Torres ruled that XRP was not a security, and maybe a little bit before that. So over a year. Because I'm not talking about the remedies, I'm talking about when her ruling about XRP not being a security was announced. And the top of the range is about 73 cents. So could we break above that with this next push? That would be great. I do think that the wave 3 should take us above or around to $1. If we get to like 85, 90 cents, I would be happy with that as a wave 3. Then we would probably have a wave 4 bring us back, retest either the 64 cent holder support or the 73 cent holder support before a wave 5, then a larger ABC, and then continuing. So that's quite bullish for XRP, we have to say. Going to also look at XRP leverage, and then we're going to look at XRP versus Bitcoin, XRP versus ETH. So XRP leverage, even on this spike up, hasn't really increased massively, so that's a pretty good sign. Looks like quite a healthy move up, and even funding, so even the people who were in positions were mainly long, but like they're sort of dying off now or coming down slowly now. So this move actually looks quite healthy as a move could look. But again, we've got to also consider the possibility that if Bitcoin pulls back, like what would that mean for XRP? Is XRP going to continue to outperform Bitcoin? We're going to have a look at the XRP Bitcoin chart in 1 second. But there's always the possibility that, especially if it's an aggressive move for Bitcoin, that it pulls XRP and the rest of the altcoins back in general. We're looking over here again on trading different, just to have a look at where the liquidity is for XRP. Let's just edit this a little bit. So we can see there is some liquidity above us here. It finishes around 63 cents. So I presume we would march through that. At this point, that's quite heavy resistance. So that is one thing that I'd be looking for XRP to do, to start marching through that 63 cent towards that 64 sort of cent level that's been acting as resistance. Let's see if we get that, and if we do, then I will update from there. So finally, just looking at XRP versus ETH and XRP versus Bitcoin, we're going to start on the daily and talk about whether we got the closes that we wanted to. Let's just put on the daily quickly. For XRP against Bitcoin on the daily, we did actually manage to get the close above the line that I wanted us to close above. So that's obviously a good start. It looks like today we've come back and back tested that line and now are almost where we closed yesterday. Could we see a potential continuation here for XRP, holding this level now, or this area of support, which was previous resistance? If we just look like this, just show you what I mean. This is previous resistance here quite clearly, and now look, we seem to be holding that as support, which is obviously lovely to see. So that's positive. Obviously, we've got more resistance up here at like 0.401079, and then obviously the resistance that we put in at 0.401164. This was on our last major spike up against Bitcoin, which was on the 7th of August. That must have been when the case, the remedies came out for the XRP case. And if we look at XRP against ETH, unfortunately, we didn't get the daily close that we wanted yesterday. Not quite. But today we are marching again on higher against Ethereum. So could we get that today? Is that the sort of thing that we're going to be seeing today? I don't know, but I blooming hope so, basically. If we look on the weekly time frame, just to refresh you guys, as you can see from the last like 10 weeks or so, let's go from the bottom. From the last 10 weeks, 8 of those weeks we've outperformed Ethereum. And if we look against Bitcoin for the last 10 weeks, about 8 as well. I think there's 2 red candles there, so that would be about 8 of those weeks that we've outperformed Bitcoin 2 with XRP just from the last 10. So yeah, 2 red candles there and the rest are green. So this is where things can get exciting. I spoke on Connor Kenny's YouTube show yesterday, and we talked about this specifically. When we start to break this level that we're at now, watch out for big green candles. That's all I've been saying to you guys. We start to get these weekly closes above the levels that we're at like now, you start to see some parabolic moves for XRP. We've got to obviously overcome this resistance, but there's probably a move up to that resistance pretty quickly within the space of a week or so. And then we're looking at sky's your limit, basically. It's more important that the wider crypto space expands while XRP is making these moves. So if Bitcoin does come down and flush out, let's hope that XRP holds strong. Or let's see if I'm right about Bitcoin specifically. I might not be. Bitcoin might march on higher and just leave long positions and bids behind like I've got in. That's possible, and that would be great because I'm mainly XRP. So they're my thought processes, guys. I think we're about to get a parabolic move if we get these closes. The short term, I don't know what happens for Bitcoin. I do think we probably move back into that area. Am I 100% sure? No. Is it what I would lean towards? Probably. But with XRP starting to move out of this zone, we need to wait a day or two and see what that's doing there. Maybe it's just a bit of a retracement. As I said, could it still be the B leg of a larger ABC? Potentially. But the next 2, 3, 4 days are going to give us a bit more of a justification and verify like what I'm thinking, whether it's right or not. We would like to see XRP closing above the 65-cent level. That would invalidate any further ABC probably if it got a good close above there, because we could have a complex ABC like we did here. So let's see. There's a lot of if, buts and maybes, but it's looking very positive. That's what I want to leave you with today. If you did enjoy the video, guys, I know it was a bit like all over the place. I'm just trying to give you all sides of the coin. I try and give you a fair shout. I don't come on here and be bullish if I'm not. I am bullish now, but I'm just cautious of a potential Bitcoin pullback and what that might mean for the crypto space. In terms of XRP, I'm thinking we're really close, if not there, in terms of like getting a big move and a pop out of this zone. Just showed you with Bitcoin and ETH against XRP. If we take the drawings off, just have a look at it. Like XRP looks like it is ready to move. Like this structure, we haven't really seen it come and pull back and then go again, like at all. Really, it's just been side to down, chopping action. Now it's more just looking more aggressive in terms of price action to the upside. Like we saw aggressive price action to the upside, then we just bled out. Price action to the upside, not so aggressive, bled out. Aggressive price action to the upside, bled out. Price action to the upside, bled out. Price action to the upside, bled out. Here, price action to the upside, chop, quick flush down, bounce up, potential price action to the upside again. The structure is different. So it might not continue. We might just top here and then bleed out. But That's why these levels are so important. If we start to get these breaks above like 64, 65 cent and then above the 74 cent, we are looking amazing for XRP to start absolutely sending it, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed, please share with a friend. Crypto Insight UK, thank you for tuning in. Peace up, A-Town down.